Hey, this is Mr. James. In this video, we're going to give some tips, hints, and help on Triangle Congruence Worksheet Tier 2. First, we'll read the directions, and then we'll talk about problems 1, 3, 5, 21, 29, and 31. So not all of the problems, but a good sample of the packet. So we'll start with the directions. For each figure, mark any congruent sides or angles that are not already given. So that means something like if I've got vertical angles, I mark those, or if I've got maybe like a shared side that's reflexive, I mark that, something like that. Then, write the following. Under congruence, write what information is given by the diagram to show congruence. So it could be like side, 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 or angle, side, angle. It could even be just like angle, side if they didn't give us very much. We'll see. B, if the triangles are congruent, complete the congruence statement. So a congruence statement, that's one of these things, right? Maybe triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF. That's a congruent statement right there. If the triangles are not congruent, write not congruent. Remember, the triangle congruence theorems are side, 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 angle, angle, side, side, angle, side, and hypotenuse leg. So if I don't have one of those, I've got to write not congruent. If I do have one of those, then I'll write the congruent statement. All right, sounds good. And lastly, C, under reason, write down any reasons you use to mark any congruent sides or angles that were not already given on the diagram. So something like what I did up here with number 1, like vertical angles, reflexive property, definition of midpoint, definition of bisector, base angle theorem, etc. So maybe I should actually start with this as like the first thing I do for each problem, and then maybe I'll come back to this and then this third. But I'll probably start with that last one because it'll be easier. So let's try. Number 1. All right, looking at the diagram, I've got these two congruent sides. Great. I've got these two congruent angles. And is there anything else that's given to me? Well, this is a shared side. Right, so I'll mark that with these two. And then under reason, I'll put anything that wasn't already on the diagram, like that shared side. So I'll put BD is congruent to BD. And that's because it's a reflexive side, so reflexive property. All right. So now that I've got that down, what information do I have? So I've got one side is congruent, right? This and that. So I've got a side. I've got an angle between those two sides. So angle. And then I've got the shared side here. So side, angle, side. And side, angle, side is a form of congruence. Shortcut. So that means that this is congruent, and ABD is going to be congruent to, let's see, A matches with C. Triangle C, B, D. All right. That is number 1. Number 3, let's see here. Is there anything that I could mark on this that I'm not already given? No, there's no reflexive sides, no vertical angles, so I'll just put an NA here. There's nothing else I can mark on there. Okay, so what do they give me? Well, I've got an angle, a side, and the angle is not between those two sides. Again, angle, side, side, with the angle not between those two sides. So I guess that'll be side, side, angle, or angle, side, side. And that's not a congruence shortcut. That's not a congruence theorem. So I'm going to write not congruent, because maybe those triangles aren't congruent. I couldn't write that congruent statement. They might not be congruent. All right, what about number 5? Look at number 5. Let's see, what can I fill in? Well, there's this 90-degree angle here, that's already there. And there's this shared side, so I can write that YA. Side YA is congruent to side YA. Just like before, that's going to be the reflexive property. So let's see, I've got a side, I've got an angle because these are both 90-degree angles. But nothing else is given to me. I don't have any other sides or angles marked. There's no way I can mark those. So I don't have enough information to show these two triangles are congruent. I don't have side, side, side. I don't have side, angle, side. I only have one side, one angle. All of my shortcuts, all of my theorems need at least 3 pieces of information. I only have 2. So these are not congruent. Not congruent. Right, we're going to skip all the way ahead to 21 now. So looking at the diagram, I've got W is congruent to A. So we've got one pair of congruent angles. XY is congruent to YZ. And I can even fill in this vertical angle here. So let me write that down since I filled it in. Angle, I can't just say angle Y because there's more than one angle around there. So I'll have to use three letters. XYW, angle XYW is congruent to angle, let's see, ZYA, angle ZYA, and that's because they are vertical angles, so vertical angle theorem. Alright, so now I've got two angles and a side, and that side is not between the two angles. Notice how that side is outside of the two angles. One angle, the other angle, the side, so angle, angle, side. Remember, if that side was between the angles, it would be like here. So you'd have angle, side, angle. That is not the case. So angle, angle, side, and WXY is going to be congruent to A. See how A matches with W. AZY. AZY. 9. And for these last two question problems we're going to do, 29 and 31, we need to read the given information and label the diagram first. Notice how nothing is given here on the diagram. It's all given down here in words and symbols. So JN is congruent to LM. So JN is congruent to LM. So we're just marking the diagram. NK is congruent to MK. NK is congruent to MK. Okay. MK, NK. Okay. Angle N is congruent to angle M. So that is congruent to that. All right. Is there any other information I could include here that's not already given to me? No, there's not. There's no vertical angles, nothing like that. So I'm going to write NA. Nothing else I can add. But they are congruent, right? I've got side, angle, side. Notice how the angle is in between the two sides, right? Side, angle, side, another side, angle, side. Perfect. So side, angle, side. And let's see, J matches with L. So it'll be JKN is congruent to LKM. There we go. And lastly, 31, which is going to be definitely a tricky one. It says SQ and PR bisect each other. Now that doesn't actually tell me that any sides or any angles are congruent, so at this point I can mark nothing on my diagram. But we have to do a little thinking, and we'll be able to mark some things on the diagram after we write down some good reasons. First off, let's start with what we're told. SQ and PR bisect each other. So here's SQ, and here's PR. Those bisect each other. What does bisect mean? Well, it means that it cuts both those lines in half, and that the two halves are going to be congruent. So I can fill in that this half will be congruent to this half, because it's bisected, and that this half is congruent to this half, again, because it's bisected. And since it wasn't explicitly told to me in the givens, I've got to write that down here in my reasons. So I know that ST is congruent to TQ, the first one we filled in, right up here. And the reason is because it's a bisector, or it's been bisected, excuse me. So I'm going to write definition of bisector. In fact, the other line, PT and TR, that gets bisected, so PT is congruent to TR. That's also definition of bisector, so I'll just draw an arrow up here, both definition of bisector. Is there anything else I can fill in? Well, there's also these vertical angles right here. So I'm going to write down that angle STR is congruent to angle QTP, and that's because the vertical angle, so vertical angle theorem. All right. Anything else I can add? No, not really. So let's go ahead and see if we can write a congruent statement here. And well, I've got a side and angle between them, and another side. So that'll be side, angle, side. And good, they're congruent. Side, angle, side is one of my congruence theorems. So that means that RST, corresponds with P, will be congruent to PQT. RST is congruent to PQT. 31 is especially difficult because we have to write down all three of our reasons in the bottom here, which says reason, because nothing is really given to me. I've got to think it all up. I've got to know what a bisector is. I've got to be able to recognize vertical angles, all that stuff. So, I hope this video has helped you. The answers to the odds will be online for checking. The evens will not be. So make sure that you're doing this, and I will check and possibly collect this next time.